some point, the math is the math.
I think we can do a better job using that information.
It reinforces my belief that I have the best constituents.
Hello, everybody. Member Jimmy Flannigan again. Here we are, episode 3 of the Clawback Live. I hope everyone has enjoyed the episode so far. We're doing this on Facebook Live right now as we work out the technology. Still doing this off my cell phone in a spare bedroom in my home, off my laptop. So it's a real grassroots experience. But we're not just posting this on Facebook Live. It's available elsewhere. After we broadcast on Facebook, we do post the full episode to YouTube. You can find that on the Jimmy Flannigan page. And we also post the video to Instagram TV. So if you're on Instagram, you can check out their new app, IGTV, and see the show there as well. You can also be sure to like and share on those platforms. Real quick, I want to just say this morning we did our second voter pep rally. Let me cue up the photos for that. We were at Westwood High School this morning. Thank you to Principal Acosta for accommodating us, and Commissioner Terry Cook, and our state reps, Celia Israel, John Busey, and Vicki Goodwin, to speak to the seniors about the importance of voting, how to register to vote, our new voting machines, what they're going to see on this off-cycle November ballot, this state constitutional amendments and issues ballot. It was a great experience again, and thanks again to the drumline and the cheerleaders for really putting the pep rally in voter pep rally. You can see the photos there. We don't have the final numbers yet. Sorry, McNeil, I think they may have registered a few more voters at Westwood today, but we will see the final numbers coming out soon. We'll tell you about that more on the Clawback next week. Get those photos away. So our big topics that we're going to talk about today, we want to talk a little bit about voting rights, some interesting information I learned this week, an update on wildfires, and a quick update on what's happening with Project Connect. So we have this off-cycle election. We've got Prop A, which is related to sports, rec fields, entertainment facilities that happen on city property. And then you have Prop B, which is related to the expansion of the convention center and our ability to do increased funding for music, art, historic preservation, and to tax the hotels in order to raise money for homelessness. Of course, if you're a regular watcher of the Clawback, you know that we want everyone to vote no on both Prop A and Prop B. But who is everyone that gets to vote? We learned this week that if you live in the ETJ, that means for District 6 residents and the ones close by, that means Rattan Creek, that means parts of Forest North, that means most of Steiner Ranch, you get to vote on Prop A. You do get to vote on Prop A, but you don't get to vote on the election Prop A says it would require. So what Prop A does is, if the city ever wanted to partner, say, with the YMCA to do a facility, a public-private partnership with the Y, we would have to go to a citywide vote in order to approve that. So if you're in Steiner, if you're in Rattan Creek, if you're in Forest North, you will have a chance to say whether or not the rest of the city gets to vote, but not you. So again, I think it's a real clear no on Prop A. But another weird thing we learned, if you're in this middle space called limited purpose, my folks in Comanche Trail know exactly what that means. Some of the folks on the backside of Steiner Ranch are in limited purpose. You don't get to vote at all. Yeah, at all. So your rest of your Steiner folks that don't get to vote for city council do get to vote for Prop A. If you live in limited purpose, you don't get to vote on Prop A, even though you do get to vote for city council next year. And of course, if you're in full purpose, you get to vote on all the things. It's a real mess. Let's really slow this down, make it simple. No on A, no on B. No on A, no on B. More information coming. Got a few more episodes of the Clawback. Early voting starts October 21st. The voter registration deadline is Monday, the 7th. Wildfires, our ongoing work for wildfires continues. We did confirm with city staff today that the camping ban applies in greenbelts. Greenbelts are parks. We've already clarified that parks are not a place where anybody can do camping. That is now confirmed that it applies to our greenbelts, so we can remove any of the fire-starting behaviors that may or may not be occurring back there. Nobody's camping in the greenbelts or shouldn't be. We also did a big zoning case. We're through second of 3 readings in River Place, where I think we've developed a pretty good set of regulations on how to consider new development in wildfire risk areas. And it has to do with the capacity of the roadway, both for traffic and for emergency evacuation, but also brand new requirements on the types of building materials you have to use. They have to be fire resistant, on the water pressure to ensure that not just water pressure for your daily work and lives, but water pressure in the event of a wildfire, because you want to make sure there's sufficient water coming to the area where the wildfire risk exists, and we're not exacerbating that through development. Then we did the street stuff and the connectivity stuff that would ensure that at any time there is an open lane for the fire equipment and our first responders to come in and for folks to evacuate. My hope is that we can take this work that we've started in River Place and really expand it into all of our wildfire risk areas. There's quite a bit of District 6 along 620 and 2222 that are in wildfire risk areas. And even in East Austin, there's a little bit of a wildfire risk area out there too. We should really be thoughtful about what we require and how we support and allow development in those areas, all of which, of course, in context of property rights under the state constitution and under state law. So it's always a delicate balance to ensure that we're able to get all of those things figured out in just the right way. And I think we've got a good template to move forward. Third, Project Connect. You're going to start hearing a lot more about this. You may have seen some of the new nonprofits launch and press conferences and all that. There's a big map. You can see it at the Cap Metro website that many of us have been involved in. But the real work is about to start. We're having joint meetings between the City Council and the Cap Metro Board to ensure that what Cap Metro is contemplating is in line with the city's plans and the city's ability to support it. Of course, the way that the state regulates public transportation entities in Texas make it very difficult for them alone to expand service. Even in a growing city, it's difficult for them to expand service. So it will be done in partnership with the city. And all of those details are yet to be worked out, but about to be worked out. And we sponsored a resolution that passed in August, making sure that the city was an equal partner to that, if not a driving partner in that, given that I think we're all thinking about what might appear on a bond election in 2020. So that work is ongoing. It's going to be a big deal for all parts of the city. We're certainly going to be looking at improving our service, commuter service that we have already, Lakeline Station and Pavilion Park and Ride. The Project Connect map has a future park and ride in the 4 Points area, so we can hopefully get additional transit service, commuter service, out in every corner of the district. And so that is something we will be working on moving forward. We did have a council meeting this week, but it was a short one. We got our new segment. I hit the wrong button. Here it goes. So our new segment is, let me get those titles away. There it goes. Hit the wrong button. Live show, everybody. It's really me doing this thing on my own. Our new segment, Tales from the Dome. You may have heard our esteemed governor wrote a letter to Mayor Adler this week related to homelessness. And I do believe that this is a positive step in the right direction. I think the original conversation is going to be partisan. At times it can be partisan between the city and the state. And, that's not new. It's not new for any state, for the state and the city to have some passionate debate. But I take it as an encouraging step that Governor Abbott really does see this issue as something he wants to participate in and to help work towards a solution. There really are things that we need the state to do. The state is responsible for healthcare regulation. The state is responsible for mental health. The state is responsible for the maintenance of state properties. I mean, except for the ones that earlier this year they told us they didn't want to maintain. And so then the city had to maintain them. Maybe the governor is saying that he's willing to step back up and help us on those state properties. But ultimately, we need the state as a partner. Every city needs their state as a partner. And the federal government needs to be our partner. When Houston was able to cut their homeless issue in half, they did it in large part with support from the federal government and housing and urban development grants and programs. Those programs are a little harder to achieve now, but I think as a community, if any community can do this, it's going to be Austin. We are going to get there, y'all. And I know it's frustrating. I'm frustrated. I don't want to see the tents. I don't want to see it either. But just hiding it doesn't actually solve it. That's, again, as I've told you before, that's what they done on the West Coast. They hid the problem, and then they didn't solve it. And then by the time they saw it again, it was so big they couldn't solve it. We're not going to make that mistake here. And we're going to do it in partnership with our community partners, our broad community partners, faith partners, private industry, business community. Everybody's going to be at the table on this one. That's what it's going to take. And I'm confident that we are going to get there as a community. So thank you, Governor Abbott. We are welcoming your assistance in this very difficult challenge that every city in the state and the country faces. Great to have you as a partner in this effort. That's all we've got on the Clawback today. We were able to knock out a fairly quick one. Coming up next, what we'll see is the land code development. In fact, it's probably publishing sometime right now while you're watching this video. It'll be a big document, just like when Code Next was happening. I will read every word. I will read every page. We will make sure that it actually accomplishes the goals that we're seeking, which is to accommodate growth in a way that is realistic and pragmatic, that supports our housing goals, our affordable housing objectives, our transportation and infrastructure objectives. We can do all of this, Austin. If any city can do it, it's this one. Let me head over to the credits. Thank you all again for watching. It is a pleasure and a joy to do this show for you all. Be sure to share, share, subscribe on YouTube, hit all the platforms, encourage your friends to watch. We will be back at the Clawback next week with another special edition. Thank you all for watching.